Check the sound out. Don't drown out. Check the sound out. Oh, hey, who's that guy? How are y'all doing today, folks? Let's move over cartoony Brody. The real Brody is here, and he's ready to give you folks another amazing video, a live stream this morning for November. Check out the chat box down below. We are joined with the amazing, the most thinkingest man in the game of Magic the Gathering, Ed from Dual Brain. If you're heading on your way to work this morning, I want to give each and every one of you a special thank you, well wishes to travel safe. Thanks for joining in and sharing life with me. This is your friend Brody. It's November 17th, and we're going to do the show today for some morning Magic the Gathering stocks. All right, all right. New microphone this morning. Let me know how the levels are coming in. Really excited to use a new piece of equipment. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, right? Like that's exciting. So we're just going to tune that baby in, kind of get it firing in the sweet spot. The green and the yellow's all right, but the red's probably a little bit too much. Hey Ed, I hope you have a safe drive. Let's just check it out. Chat is up. I'm here, Brody. I'll be driving though, so I won't be able to type. I'll be here listening though. That's all we need is the ears of the dual brain, and maybe a chat if it's safe to do so. Lend us your ears, old learned one. Ed, appreciate you for making the videos that you make and giving us something to think about, to grind on, to chime on. We're gonna do some morning magic stocks. I really had a lot of fun yesterday with you folks. It was a good time. Let's see where we're at this morning. Any news? Any news? I love doing the show first thing in the morning. I really do. It's like the time for Brody to do the show. I get there first. I might not get the last word of the day, uh, but that's okay for me. Having a really good time doing it. I get to check out these charts with you guys, and I get to bring you some amazing news. Magic trivia for you folks this morning for tuning in on your drive to work. What was the first card in the game that allowed you to search for lands? Yeah, that's right. Brody came to party. Thanks for everybody who watched the stream yesterday, checking out the time walk trivia question. Can you fork a time walk? Hmm. We answered that yesterday, but today we're asking what's the first card in the game that allowed you to search for lands? You know it. It's right on the tip of your tongue. You can't, yeah, you can't help but wonder what it is. The very first card in the game that allowed us all to search for lands. Ah, stick with us till the end of the hour, and you're gonna have that one figured out. If anyone doesn't have a chance to shout us out in the chat, just put it up there. Well, if I see it, I'll read it out for you folks. Let's start off like right around here. Hit the dual brain. Oh, dual brain. Yeah. Ooh, this cryptic. This cryptic. I mean, oh, this cryptic. Kickstarter release over the Dual Brain channel is kind of interesting. People are starting to look other places other than Magic, but we want to look at Hasbro stock. We do. Let's look at the Hasbro stock this morning and see where we are at. See where we are at. Let's check it out. We are 55.97. It was $58 yesterday. So Hasbro stock is kind of still ticking down. Was it's down another $2. Is 4.67%. That's a bunch. Just in a day. Over 5 days, we're down from 63. Over the month, we're down from 68. And over the year, I think it's down from 100. Yeah. That's quite a bit of a dip in price right there for you folks. Let's have a little sip of coffee. See, oh, that's cup of coffee's tasting pretty darn good here this morning. Folks, we're going to run down the movers and the shakers list and see if there's anything new over here. The workshop. Hmm. Mercer's workshop. There's another card that's heavy on the legacy side. It's a legacy card. No, it's not. Ah, it's early. Give me a second here. Focus. Stay focused, Brody. That's okay. This card, the movers and the shakers, Mishra's workshop. Tap to add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool. This is a card that seen a real big spike up in price. So you know, this is not financial advice. I'm not advising anybody to buy these cards. We think the market's probably going to move a little bit to the right and down for another period of time. And if you need a place, comfortable place to sit back and watch the action, you can do that right here. We're going to be checking these charts each and every day, like we always do. So if you don't have the time to do that, let me do it for you. Morning, Mishra's Workshop, down and to the right. Yeah, it is. I wonder how the Bazaar is doing. I mean, which one's going to hold up better, the Workshop or the Bazaar? It's kind of a war of attrition here. Let's check it out. Down and to the right, just a slow, smooth, hang gliding type of pattern. Prison shops, aggro shops. Traz and the Infinite. Let's check this out. Karn Silver Golem, Paradoxical Outcome, Vintage decks. Okay, Trazyn is the Infinite is a commander. Blue Tinker, Combo Shops, Heliod Suncrown Hunter, Anric the Traveler. Let's check out Trazyn, the Infinite. Infinite. I have a little sip of coffee here this morning. Thanks for joining us. Trazyn the Infinite. Revival of the Artifacts. Oh, a 4/6 Death Toucher. For 6 mana. 2 black and 4 for Trazyn. A Necron. This deck is featuring a commander from the Warhammer 40k series already. We've got a wow. People get right to it. November 15th. This is hot. This thing came out 2 days ago. Let's check it out. Prismatic Gallery. As long as Trazyn, I hope I'm saying that right. As long as Trazyn the Infinite is on the battlefield, it has all activated abilities of all artifact cards in your graveyard. This card is insane. Legendary creature artifact Necron gains the abilities of all artifacts in your bin, even mana rocks. Hmm. Well, I don't know what this word is. The Archaeovist. The Archaeovist of Solomon's galleries will not rest until every treasure in the gallery is safely within his clutches. Interesting card. The guy's got a stick in his hand. It almost looks like, I mean, I'm going to say it here. Like, this is the easiest Pennywise the Clown alternate that I have ever seen in the happenings. We just put a little bit of red fuzzy hair around the guy, a red nose, throw a balloon in his hand, and we've literally got Pennywise the Clown. OMG. I really sorry about that, but that's all I can see, and it's hilarious. Right on. Morning Magic Stocks. Okay, so that's a commander deck featuring this card, the Mishra's Workshop. It's great card, it's land. So but it's not gonna cost $3,249. Like, get one if you want to play shops. Like, just get on the road to shops if you want to do it. If you're going to be a vintage player, like, here's the thing. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate the share, buddy. Let's have a little sip of coffee. Let's hang out with my friend Ed, my bud, my best bud, my Magic 30 best bud. Like, this guy knows his way around an event. Low to the ground, a good eye view on what's actually happening. A keen eye for detail and a fresh perspective on the game as always. Over at the Dual Brain channel. You gotta make that alt art, right? The Pennywise the Clown alt art. It totally looks like it. I gotta put it up there. Like, it's hilarious. This new card, Trazin the Infinite from Warhammer set, right? It looks like that's all I can see. Just puts red hair, a red nose, and a couple of balloons. All right, the workshop. Depth at the vendors. Played copies. They have a couple of near minties in stock. 33.99 at the vendor shops. 5,000 for a CCG. No, 3,000 for a five. A CGC 5. This is one of those other graded brands. Tough to see, like, tough to see what's going to happen with the world of grading. Like, it's almost like a perfect storm. Stayed away from grading altogether. It just scares me, like sending the cards away. And now, like, without people getting good grades, let's what else? So what do you get for a five? I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know what you get for a CGC five, but this one's 3 grand. You're probably better off to crack it out of the case. At that point, okay, let's go back. CGC five for $3,000. I don't know about you, but the plate copy for 23. Ooh. Trade into cards. Where else are we seeing the shops? They're ready. So one in Commander. You can play one in a fast artifact build. You sure can. It seems really good. That's probably a card to watch here for the next little while. I want to just check out Bazaar of Baghdad. It's another, like, it's the namesake card. It's such a great card from an Arabian Nights. See, similar. What do we got here? A little kick down. Like, these two cards follow such a similar pattern, or have anyway. I mean, it'd be interesting to see, like, if something ever happens that causes that to diverge. Hogak, Squee Hollowvine, Dredge, Gitrog Monster. If you're just joining us, Magic Trivia for the day, give me a comment in the comment section. Hey guys, it's Friday evening. Thanks, Brody, for another checkup on the market. Friday evening. Man, I wish it was Friday, but you know what? It's Thursday here. Felipe Calveira Garcia. Thanks for joining us this morning. A stock price check, but it is Thursday, so that means that Mr. DJ Round Table, Mr. DJ Longhair's MTG Round Table. That's right. Will be tonight at 7 o'clock. Very cool. So keep your eye out for that. Anybody who Felipe, head over there and check out where all the cool kids hang and discuss magic, get together, and shop ideas around the table. It's awesome. Word, I'm just getting coffee in the cup. Thursday is Friday evening, bro. It's the desire. I'm okay. All right. I'll take it. I'll take it. Let's do it. You can have a Friday if it makes you feel good. Feel good Fridays. Tomorrow will be casual Friday for Brody. Let's do a little price check this morning for you folks. Thanks all for hitting up the chat. Throw me a chat. if you got the time, if it's safe to do so, if you're on your way to work, please drive safe. It could be a little icy out there. Diamond Valley, this is the uncommon from Arabian Nights. Whoo! It was up, it was down, it was up again, and now it's kind of around the same price that it's been all week, 899 bucks. Another powerhouse rare. I call it a rare. It's an uncommon too, I guess. Can I use those terms interchangeably when we're talking about Arabian Nights? I hope so. Used in Commander. Depala, the pilot exemplar, plays it. And Thraximundar. I want to check that out. Depala, other dwarves you get plus one. Each vehicle gets plus one as long as it's creature. Whenever Depala pilot exemplar becomes tapped, you may pay X. If you do, reveal the top X cards of your library, put all dwarf and vehicle cards from among them into your hand. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. 3 dwarfs, dwarf vehicles, pilots. Super cool. Let's play the pilots, eh? Really? I guess you sacrifice the big stuff. Mr. Big Stuff, who do you think you are? 500 bucks for the Diamond Valley in the most beat up shape you can get. 800 from eBay, 600 in between, maybe a CCG4. These graded 4 cards, right? Okay, Brain's giving us a good to go. A U2 is a rare. Thanks, Brain. The lands, it was so perfect a pull, right? But box average was 289. The lands, hmm. I have opened one TSR box yesterday. Got a foil Mystic Sanctuary. U3 should be uncommon, but people call it rare as well. Okay, so it's the U3 we gotta watch out for. I'd go in so far as to say a U2 we could call a rare. A U3 we should probably call an uncommon, just so that we still have cards in the uncommon slot. How about that? Eh, I don't know. Titan Card Games has it for 739, so that's all right. Let's check a little farther on down the list. Hasbro stock dipping a little bit in price. Trivia question today for anybody who's just tuning in. What's the first card in Magic that allowed you to search for lands? So, the Diamond Valley, did we miss King Solomon? Did he just butt his way into the top 3 here, or he was on the list yesterday? So this card we're looking at it. Yes, we were looking at it and like pointing out a few things about it. Not just the price at $342.51, but the fact it's on a reserve list. Excuse me, I gotta have a sip of coffee and we'll get right into this card. Let's talk about King Solomon here for a minute. First of all, I noticed this card is illustrated by Mark Poole, but what I didn't notice is that it's got a flavor text on it out of the Quran. So that's pretty surprising. I don't know where any other Quran flavor text shows up in Magic cards, but this on this card, it's a white card. So Arabian Nights is rare and it's expensive. It's got a beautiful black border on it, and it's illustrated by Mark Poole, as discussed. It's not a legendary, it's a namesake card. It could be legendary if you think about it, because it is a named card, like it's an actual person. So that could use a little bit of thought, but it is also considered a human noble. All right, so where are people using this? In I wrote it down. There's a card called Chains of Veles Veils. Blades of Veles Veils. That is an arcane changeling tribal that turns creatures into changelings until end of turn. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. It's a stretch here, but What the deck is doing is it's turning creatures into all creature types, changelings being one of them, and then of course they're all creature types counts as an Ifrit or a Djinn. So the King Solomon's a 2 mana tap, kill target, destroy target creature. When you make certain creatures changelings, and then they become all creature types. So let's look up the blades, and this is a shout out to my buddy Benson from the Lauren block. Like it works with this card, this 25-cent tribal common. Blades of Velis Vel. I never heard of it, but he's brought up this card, and like I love it when people throw me a comment in the comment section, like, "Hey Brody, I want to check out this card," right? So I'm like, "All right, what's this blades? Check out the blades, right? It's hard to get it, but I finally got my head around it. It's one red, it's Blades of Velis Vel, it's tribal, it's instant, and it itself is a shapeshifter. This card is every creature type at all times. The instant changeling. Up to 2 target creatures each get +2/0 and gain all creature types until end of turn. The changing kind suffers, as we do. We must join as one to quench our tyrants. So the Blades of Velis Vel is used with the King Solomon to give 2 creatures all creature types until end of the turn, and then tap to destroy it. So we have some tech on this card. If Ifrits and Djinns are printed and they become a problem, and you're not packing yourself a copy of the King Solomon, you could always get yourself a copy of Solomon's Legacy, the $2.94 enchantment from Visions block that destroys all Afrits and Jijins when it enters the battlefield. They can't be regenerated, and whenever any of those pesky Afrits or Jijins enter the battlefield, they get destroyed and they're out of your hair for good. I guess this is a board wipe for 2 mana if you're playing changelings, because they're all creature types. Let's come up with more ways to make your opponent's creatures changelings. Some interesting tech comes out of these cardboard discussions. Okay, so Diamond Valley on the reserve list, a uncommon. Brody's gonna have another sip of coffee. And keep heading down the list with you folks. We got Michael Superbacker. Thank God thank gosh, you helped me find my hat. Michael Superbacker's in the house this morning. Thanks again, Michael. I appreciate you joining us as always for a little morning coffee. We're running down the Magic stocks and we've got some tech on these cards. Thanks for leaving a comment in the comment section below. Trivia for you today, my man. What's the first card in Magic the Gathering that allowed you to search your library for lands? It's a good one. If you know that, throw me a comment in the comment section below. Tune in, and we'll get to that. If somebody types it in, I'll read it out straight away. We're going over these Arabian Nights cards. There's like 3 of them in a row here on the movers and the shakers list here this morning. Sorry about the mic bump. Brody's having a little sip of coffee, and we're going to discuss the Elephant Graveyard Changelings. Changelings are a viable deck. Hmm. Right? The Elephant Graveyard. So Changelings is kind of an interesting mechanic in Magic the Gathering, and I like it. Hasbro stock's down $2 again this morning, Michael. If you're just joining us, yeah, Hasbro stock is down 40% on the year. On the day, it's down 4.6 points. It's down another $2. Ugh. All right, elephant. We go onward and upward we go with the elephant graveyard, and on with the show. It's morning stocks with Brody, doing a little price check here, hanging with Dual Brain, Felipe Calvera Garcia, Michael Superbacker. We're talking about this Arabian Nights Uncommons that Uncommons and rares. This one is in fact a rare. It's a cheaper one. I think this card's underrated. I do. So the Elephant Graveyard, like it's super crazy. It's super, it could use an altar with like Timon, Pumbaa, and like a Simba in the landscape there. I don't know. Wandering through the elephant graveyard, wouldn't that be cool? We So this card regenerates an elephant, and I don't know how good that seems on paper, but we've been discussing a little bit this week the changeling mechanic. It's come up a couple of times. This Blaze of Velis Vels, this interesting tech from my brother Benson, and like this card here, I saw it played in a Morophon deck. Morophon the Boundless. That's right. We checked out this deck yesterday. So we'll touch on it again real quick for you folks. But this is like a shapeshifter changeling deck. Changeling, it's every creature type as Morophon the Boundless enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Spells of that type cost a Wooburg, a white, a blue, a black, a red, and a green, less to cast. So other creatures of the creature of the chosen type get +1/+1. You could just name elephants, but it's every creature type anyway. So you can regenerate Morophon with the elephant graveyard, and it makes mana, which is pretty cool. I want to check out this other deck that's playing it in Commander. It's the Karn deck. So like this card seems pretty darn good. It seems like a utility land that is a bit underrated. So what are we doing here? Are we actually playing elephants? No. Walking Ballista, Stone Coil Serpent, Copper Gnomes? Are we playing gnomes? Is this card busted? 2 mana. A 1/1. Sacrifice Copper Gnomes and choose an artifact in your hand and put it into play. That's 4. I guess you're into it for 6. Artifact deck. I'm trying to see what's the tech here for this elephant graveyard. Where are people using it? Why is it popular? Thraxos. Big Stompies, a Juggernaut, a Hellkite, a Worm Coil Engine, a Platinum Boy, a Cityscape, a Leveler Boy, a Hyperion Boy, a Colossus Boy, a Lattice Boy. Oh my, this is just all big artifact buffs. All is dust. Okay, I don't really get how the Elephant Graveyard fits in here. If anybody sees it, we have to study this deck. But that's where it's being used. $321. That and Morophon decks. Super cool card. It's kind of situational, like it's only good in creature builds for you. But man, creatures are kind of the funnest thing in Magic, aren't they? All right. Northern Paladin. It's also on there too. It's hanging around the list. It was back from yesterday. The Northern Paladin, that is a card. Let's talk about this card right here. The Northern Paladin. There was a deck. This one, it's up $12, $54 or 31% for unlimited, but don't pay that for this card. Let's watch these prices for a little bit. Like I think we're going to see this card on sale from now and into the future. $12 for a good copy or 17. You can probably get it on eBay even cheaper. The rare, like, okay, so we didn't do this yesterday, but let's look at the Royal Assassin. Early in Magic, like, this is what you got. You got either or. You had, I want the original art, please. Please, oh, please show me this card. All right. So the Royal Assassin, you got this card, which is awesome. 2 black and 1. Tap, destroy a tapped creature. Trained in the arts of stealth. The Royal Assassins chose their victims carefully, relying on timing and precision rather than brute force. So this card, illustrated by Tom Watersand, was the tap to just kill a creature, right? It was insane. You icy manipulator in this card, you're just taking down anything on the board, except for Sarah Angel. Like, well, you'd need an icy, but that's why she was so good. That's another reason she was so. She's still amazing. Uh, or you got the Northern Paladin, right? Not like. Let's read this card. 2 white and 2. It should have pro black. I really kind of think it should, but it's a 3/3, so it's a beater. It can go on the it can go on the it can go on the battlefield and do a little bit of damage. Two black and tap, destroy a black card in play. Cannot be used to a permanent. Any black permanent. Destroy a black permanent. Look to the north. There you will find a aid and comfort. The Book of Tal. So the Northern Paladin is like a hoser card on a creature. It's a 3/3. It will just destroy the Royal Assassin. So it's like the white tech that it needs to deal with this card built right into the game. But it's played an interesting build with Dromar, the Banisher. This kind of surprised me that people are playing this card, and why not? This Dromar, this dragon, he's 6/6 with an Esper and 3. It's 6/6 that says whenever the Banisher, deals combat damage to a player, you may pay a blue and 2. If you do, take your shoe and beat it till it's black and blue. No, return all creatures of that color to their owner's hand. When it deals combat damage to a player, choose a color, return all creatures of that color to their owner's hand. Wow. Dromar colors matter. So that's where people are playing this Northern Paladin. It's 4 mana. There it is. Southern Paladin. This guy is so cool, right? Look at this card. Look to the south. There you will find peace and serenity. Look to the north. There you will find aid and comfort. The lore on these two cards and them printed sort of one after the other is really awesome in Magic the Gathering. I really like it. The contrasting characters here. More colors matter. A deck that looks fun to play. So this card's got a home in it. If you're somebody who's a reach back player wants to get your hands on some of the older copies, you can pay 49 bucks for the unlimited one, but it's like $1.49 in revised. So want if you really don't want to pay pay 50 bucks for the Paladin to build that deck, don't. Pay a buck 50. Nicolas Bolas, the dragon. The awesome. Hit the like. Yeah, I appreciate you guys for checking me out on the stream. It really helps out. It's been a lot of fun. Holy smokes. I didn't realize I would have so much fun with you folks. You really make it awesome. Thank you for sharing life with me this morning, which is November 17th, 2022. We're running down the stock list, checking the prices of the movers and the shakers. Nicolas Bolas has found himself onto the list once again. $187 for the OG copy. I'm gonna have a little sip of coffee here. The Elder Dragon. This guy, I wanted to read this again because I kind of thought combat damage to an opponent, then they discard their hand. No, it's any damage. There's an artifact, I think, what is it? Even a rock token. Like, would this work with a rock token? What's the guy that makes the rocks? Help me out here. Uh, he makes the rock tokens. He's that little goblin-y guy. And you equip the rock to the creature, sack the rock, and it does like a damage to your opponent. If you hit them, if Nicholas Bolas throws a rock, they discard their hand. Like, here's a little tech for you folks here. He's a, let's look him up. Lands and rocks. Artifact token. Excuse me. Artifact token rocks. This guy, Torgo. Let's read him. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a colorless equipment token artifact named Rock. When equipped creature has tap sack rock, this creature deals 2 damage to any target and equip 1. I like this in with Nicolas Bolas. I really do. I want to see him throwing rocks at opponents and maybe dropping them on them, doing 2 damage and making them discard their hand. Now that seems fun, right? Another way to play this card. It's got the original black border. It was reprinted in Chronicles, yeah, for sure. And then there's the other full art version of this that includes like the body shot of Nicholas Bolas. Nicol Bolas, right there. Two red, two black, two blue, and two. Elder Dragon, Dominaria's most ancient evil. There was no flavor text on this version, which, it could use a little just to make it over the top. Over the top good. It's played in namesake decks. Nicol Bolas the Ravager. That's the 4 mana one. I like that card. It's awesome. And the Scion of the Dragon. Lots of dragon builds. I don't know if anybody's playing the Rock Tech with Nicol Bolas. Like, I mean, it seems all right, pretty good. Okay, let's drop down one more on the list. Coming in seventh off the top of the movers and the shakers list, the Ring of Maruff. I want to thank you guys for joining me up into the end of the hour here. I gotta be on for just a few more minutes. We gotta get down this list. I want to just take a peek over at the top losers like for a minute to see like what's standing out here because like I don't usually look at the loser side unless I have a whole pile of time. The Ring of Maruff, we saw it here once already this week. The Drop of Honey, the Illusionary Mask, and the Mishra's Factory. I'm just looking for like new stuff on the list. Animate Wall was on there. Cyclopean Tomb. I don't know. The wall, I don't see it. And then Fungasaur seems kind of odd. Like that card moving 68%. But there's going to be some cards that just tank. I like the Raging River though. I do. And Concordant Crossroads. So some interesting stuff on that side of the fence. Let's check out the Ring of Rough real quick here. It's up 8 points. It's been in the top 10 or the top movers and shakers a couple of times. 150 bucks. The original Consult the Sideboard card. This card's 5 mana. You got to tap it, pay 5 into it, exile it, and then instead of drawing a card, you get to go get a card from outside the game and put it into your hand. The original Consult the Sideboard card, it's also from Arabian Nights and it's a rare. Seems expensive. You're going to be like 10 mana deep into this thing just to get that one card that's in your sideboard, so it may not be worth 150 bucks to you. Let's watch and see what happens. Drop of Honey. Here's a card. All right, let's hit the like for this card. Excuse me. We're going to have a little sip of coffee. Throw a drop of honey in your coffee this morning. Sweeten it up. Or if you're having tea, a drop of honey goes well. For those of you watching the trivia answer to the trivia question today, the answer of the very first card in Magic that allowed you to search a player to search their library for lands is land tax. It is land tax. Before that card, there was no other, and it was an inspiration for a couple of other cards. Cards that allow players to search. It's pretty interesting. I like this Magic trivia. All kinds of it coming for you folks if you continue to join me here. But this card, Drop of Honey, it's got it's got a counterpart, like a reprint called Porphyry Nodes. It's like if you want to play green in lands especially, the Drop of Honey is extremely useful. You can use Riftstone Portal and this Porphyry Nodes. Excuse me. You can use Ripstone Portal and this Porphyry Nodes to get the same effect in a lands build, but the Drop of Honey is green. So if you don't want to add that Selesnya color gimmick into your deck, you don't have yeah, you gotta stick with you gotta pay the $800 and get the Drop of Honey. These two cards are essentially the same, except for the price is is there's quite a difference. I'm kind of curious to see if they're playing in some of the similar decks. Played with Brea, Child of Alara, and Daxos. And where are we playing the Drop of Honey? Lands. Yeah, it's played in lands. And then the Porphyry Nodes played in Commander with Brea. Colors matter. At the beginning of your upkeep, destroy the creature with the least power. It can't be regenerated if two or more creatures are tied for the least power. You choose one of them. So we're going to choose opponents and destroy that. If there's any ties, that's like so good that way, right? You get to choose if there's a tie. Oh, one's tied for the least power. I think we destroy yours. Another 1/1 in the next turn. Is my same creature tied again? We're gonna destroy yours. When there's no creatures on the battlefield, sacrifice, drop a honey. Arabian Nights rare, really good card. Man. And the Illusionary Mask. I think people used to put Ali from Cairo under this. Let's imagine we did. Ali from Cairo is another Arabian Nights. Goeiemorgen. Jurgen. Goeie vanavond. But it's okay. Goeiemorgen. Goeievanavond. Goedemiddag. Thanks for joining us over in the Netherlands. Jurgen, the nerd and proud of it. I love your commentary. Appreciate you for joining us this morning. We're running down the movers and shakers list, hitting a little bit of magic trivia, and we're going to see if we can make you laugh a little bit this morning, Jurgen. Everybody's kind of getting rolling. Illusionary Mask. We're talking about it. Let's talk about this card for a minute. $280. Interesting. Interesting. All right, 280 bucks. The Illusionary Mask. You may choose a creature card in your hand whose mana cost could be paid by some amount of mana. So you gotta put this thing on the battlefield and pay some amount of mana that has to at least be that creature's cost. Or more, if you want to try and represent something other than what you have. So choose a creature card in your hand whose mana cost could be paid by some amount of mana or all the mana you spent on X. If you do, the caster may cast that card face down as a 2/2 creature without paying its mana cost. If that creature spell becomes if the creature that spell becomes as it resolves has not been turned face up and would assign deal damage or be dealt damage or become tapped, instead it's turned face up and assigns or deals damage, is dealt damage or becomes tapped. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. Man, I'm having a tough time reading this card this morning. It's got it's got too much text on it for a live stream. It really does. I think I should have skipped it, but it's a fun card. Can't skip it. It's on the list. I don't know where people are using. No decks found. Nobody's using this card, but I did hear the Moxman give us a pretty interesting story, a rendition about a player putting an alley from Cairo face down under using this illusionary mask. So that alley from Cairo is a card that says damage that would reduce your life total to less than one reduces it to one. It's like the original gotcha creature, right? Like if you got this guy in play, you can't die. So the story goes player plays this guy face down with the illusionary mask as a 2/2 creature. Opponent attacks for the win, says I got ya, and Buddy says like, no, I'm not dead yet. Calls the judge over, looks at the card that's face down, sees its alley, and tells the attacking player that he can't tell him why, but because he hasn't caused this alley to flip yet, and but he's not dead. Player playing alley takes his turn. Of course, the other player's tapped out, wins the game. Confused. Player number one asks, "Okay, I got to see what's underneath that. What's turned face up with the illusionary mask, or what could have been face up with the illusionary mask?" Sees the alley from Cairo, and like the rest is history. The rest is history. Practice safe texts on a live stream, right? That's awesome. Yes, we got the coaches in the house. Jurgen joining us all the way from the other side of the pond. We're just heading down the list here for you folks. The movers and shakers this morning with Brody. Let me just we're gonna be here for just another couple of minutes, folks. Let me just check on a couple of things here. See what time we're at. Another couple. We got a couple minutes. I can cover this last card. This card, Mishra's Factory, the Spring Edition. So these cards like are usually pretty all right. It's the winter one that people like. They're assembly worker cards. Okay, I like this with the Mishra's Foundry. I think we talked about a deck build the other day called 8 factories. You know, you could run a play set of each. How about that? The Mishra's Factory and the Mishra's Foundry, right? How about that? There's gonna have to be a deck that comes out. But look at all the decks that play this. Baba Lysaga, the Night Witch. 14 decks with that. And Karn the Silver Golem, Winota. People like this manland. It's like the super popular manland. Yep. Art Artifact build. Golgari. Let's look at Baba Lysaga, the Night Witch. 3/3 human warlock. Woo. Tap, sacrifice up to 3 permanents. If there were 3 or more card types among the sacrifice permanents, each opponent loses 3 life. You gain 3 life and draw 3 cards. That is really good. Sack up to 3 if there were 3 or more card types. Yeah. So you get to sack the factory, and it's like, does it count as more than one card type? 3 or more card types among the sacrifice permanents. Hmm. So I would say maybe it works like this. You activate the factory to make an artifact creature, and then when it's sacrificed, Babala Saga checks to see what the card type is, land and creature, and it counts as 2. Maybe that's how it works. Anybody familiar with that? Is there a judge in the house? I'm guessing that's how it works. You're all right, coach. Hey, Jurgen. Ali is a good card. Happy to have a playset. Ha! Jurgen's packing a playset of the Ali from Cairo. Very nice to see the chat light up a little bit going over some Mishra's Factory. So there's Mishra's Factory, Mishra's Foundry. If you want to pick up the cheaper version of the Antiquities one, that's this one here, the spring version. The winter version is the expensive one. Maybe fella, that one's $500. Oh my goodness. What? Keeps going up. Wait for these prices to soften. So this is speaking of factories, this is your host Brody. I'm gonna be heading out here to enjoy the day. Thanks you guys for joining me on the live stream this morning for November 17th. I'm gonna leave you with this one. What do you call a Mishra's factory that makes okay products? It's called Satisfactory. Enjoy your day, folks. It's Thursday, and if you're oh, I kind of screwed that up. Let's put the factory art up on there. Sorry about that. If if you guys aren't aware of it, today is Thursday night, so Mr. DJ Longhair will be having the round table tonight at 7 o'clock. If you guys can make it, any of the viewers tuning in, that's usually a pretty cool discussion if you want to check it out. Michael Superbacker, Jurgen, Dual Brain, the coach, Felipe Calvera Garcia, everybody who made it for MTG Morning Magic the Gathering stocks and price check. This is Thursday, November 17th, and we'll talk to you all again real